Today's program is brought to you by OTCStockShark.com. For the latest and greatest OTC and Pink Sheets information, sign up for your account at OTCStockShark.com. Thank you for tuning in to TBC Today. I'm Brandon Vincent.
And I'm Angelina Soriano.
In financial news, shoppers showed caution about everyday purchases in July, underscoring the U.S. economy's weak trajectory for the second half of the year. Overall, retail sales rose 0.4% in July, their first gain in 3 months. But when increases in gasoline and automobile sales are excluded, sales were down 0.1%. Grocery, clothing, and electronic stores all posted declines. The retail numbers added to the growing evidence that the economic recovery is losing steam as consumers, weighed down by high unemployment and a meager wage growth, show less interest in opening their wallets. The University of Michigan reported that its index of consumer sentiment barely improved in July, rising 1.8 points to 69, keeping it in a weak range that has persisted for more than a year. In U.S. news, the youngest survivor of a plane crash that killed former Senator Ted Stevens last week has been released from a hospital in Alaska. Willie Phillips, who is 13, was released from the Children's Hospital at Providence, Alaska Medical Center and is traveling back to his home state of Maryland. Willie's father, former Stevens staffer Bill Phillips, was among the 5 people killed in the crash. In a statement, Janet Phillips thanked first responders and other medical personnel for their heroic efforts the night they spent on the mountain with Willie. "Thank you for bringing Willie back." Phillips also extended her condolences to the other families who lost loved ones in the wreck. Bill and our boys shared many Alaska memories. They loved Alaska, and as we leave, I know that Alaska will remain imprinted on our hearts. In addition to Willie, the survivors of the crash are former NASA Administrator Sean O'Keefe and his 19-year-old son, Kevin and Jim Morhard. In international news, United Nations Secretary General Ban Ki said devastation caused by unprecedented flooding in Pakistan was among the worst he had ever seen, as he promised more relief funds for those who have lost homes and farms. Ki said at a press conference with Pakistani President Zardari, "This has been a heart-wrenching day for me. I will never forget the destruction and suffering I have witnessed today. In the past, I have witnessed many natural disasters around the world, but nothing like this." Speaking during a visit to the country, Ki said the United Nations was allocating a further $10 million from its Central Emergency Response Fund, making $27 million allocated since the crisis began. He said the organization would aim to provide help for 14 million people affected by the floods and deliver clean water to 6 million people. The government canceled the August 14th Independence Day celebrations to show solidarity with flood victims. Prime Minister Giuliani hosted a meeting of political leaders in the capital that agreed to set up a national fund to rehabilitate people affected by the disaster. As many as 20 million people have been displaced.
Ever wish you had sonic hearing? Well, now you can with the amazing Silver Sonic XL from Bell & Howell. It's lightweight and small, just like a cell phone ear adapter. The flexible ear mount easily adjusts to fit all ear shapes and sizes, and the molded ear tip lets it fit you comfortably. Best of all, it looks like a cell phone ear adapter. The Silver Sonic XL amplifies sounds up to 50 decibels, so you can easily keep track of your kids at play. And it picks up sounds from more than 30 yards away, so no one will know you have sonic hearing.
Her body is amazing. I wish I could look like that.
The Bell & Howell Silver Sonic XL is yours for only $19.95. But wait, when you call, ask about our deluxe model upgrade that's fully rechargeable and comes with its own charger. Get Silver Sonic XL now and start hearing things you've never heard before. Call now.
To order your Silver Sonic XL, call 1-800-230-7100 or send $19.95 plus shipping to the address on your screen. But for quicker service, call 1-800-230-7100.
In entertainment news, Karen Ballardman clearly dominated the box office this weekend in a gender battle that pitted Sylvester Stallone's testosterone-fueled Expendables against Julia Roberts' Eat, Pray, Love. The Expendables won the weekend easily, grossing $35 million and a crucial victory for Lionsgate. Eat, Pray, Love was no slouch either, considering its limited appeal to men. The PG-13 rated travelogue grossed an estimated $23.7 million, making it Roberts' highest opening as a leading lady since 2001's America's Sweethearts. The other new wide release, Scott Pilgrim vs. the World, has had a much harder time connecting with audiences. The Michael Cera film grossed only $10.5 million, far less than the studio had hoped. The film from British director Edgar Wright, with a budget of $60 million, was a huge hit at Comic-Con that hasn't translated to the real world. Those that did attend the hyperkinetic action love story had a great time. Last weekend's Holdovers performed in the range expected. The Other Guys lost less than 50% of its value for a weekend take of $18 million and a total gross of $70.5 million. Step Up 3D didn't fare as well. The 3D dance flick lost some 58% of its value for a 7th place finish at $6.6 million of additional gross. Its total two-week total stands at $29.5 million. In tech news, about 100 net neutrality activists left their laptops at home to gather at Google's Silicon Valley headquarters to protest the search giant's perceived betrayal of the movement for federal internet openness rules. The protest group's ranks included eager young activists, longtime technologists, first-time protesters, and the ever-present raging grannies, who led anti-Google sing-alongs set to classic Americana songs. At issue was a joint policy statement Google and Verizon issued that was widely interpreted as Google reneging on its years-long strong support for federal rules guaranteeing that users could use the apps, services, and devices of their choice without unfair interference from their ISPs or mobile carriers. James Rucker, the head of the activist group, Color of Change, took to the megaphone to remind the group of the power of an open internet. President Obama has said, "If it weren't for a free and open internet, I would not have ever been elected." Rucker said, "We would not expect Google to be leading the charge to undo that level playing field." In health news, Ella, a prescription-only emergency contraceptive, has received final approval from the U.S. Food and Drug Administration. This is the first drug legally available for the use in the United States that can be used within 120 hours or 5 days of unprotected intercourse or failure of some other contraceptive method. But the 5-day morning after pill has been available in Europe since 2009 under the brand name Ella 1. The FDA said women who are pregnant or suspect they are pregnant should not use this product. Women who are breastfeeding should also not use Ella. Watson Pharmaceuticals will begin preparations to commercialize the product in the fourth quarter of this year. Ella got a nod from the FDA advisors in June. In green news, if only Visa treated my debt the way the U.S. is treating debt from developing countries. The Obama administration announced that it will cancel debt from Brazil in exchange for forest protection. The U.S. has done the same for Bangladesh, Colombia, Costa Rica, Indonesia, and many more. Deforestation accounts for about 20% of global warming emissions, making zero deforestation a priority in places like Brazil and Indonesia, which rank 3rd and 4th for GHG emissions. In total, the U.S. will cancel $21 million of Brazil's debt in exchange for protection of the Amazon. This won't cancel all Brazil's debt payments, but it will lessen them over the next 5 years. It's unclear if the debt cancellation agreements are part of the $1 billion pledge in Fast Start financing over the next 3 years that the U.S. has guaranteed to help end deforestation. It's also unclear if the sum is part of the $100 billion figure that Secretary of State Clinton announced in Copenhagen last year. In November in Cancun, countries may agree on a forest financing scheme that would pay huge sums to developing countries that help deforestation. The program, known as RED, could be set to be funded by offsets, which will allow polluters to keep emitting while they pay for forest preservation efforts. Or it could be set up as an independent fund, paid for by developed countries. Thank you for tuning in to TBC Today. I'm Brandon Vincent.
And I'm Angelina Soriano.
The makeup in today's program is provided by MAC Cosmetics.